Now, the Thenx Ladies is a collective of actors who present satirical sketches across a range of topics. In their newest offering, actors Momo Matsunyane, Moepang and Tumy Motsoatsoe present the Triple M Mamas, also known as the regular attendees at Mekete, Manyalo le Mafu. Now, the sketch follows the story of the founders of a local stokvel who cater for community funerals, weddings and traditional ceremonies with their popular dish, nnete, which they serve at these events. Let's find out more about this project and speak to two of the actors, Momo Matsunyane and Tumy Motsoatsoe. Momo and Tumy, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So let's talk about Mekete Manyalo le Mafu. What is that about?
Oh my goodness. It's an upcoming show that we're performing next week at AFTA. Mekete Manyalo le Mafu is essentially a platform where these awesome mamas who serve at a variety of events basically serve their favorite dish, nnete. And essentially this is a platform or a vessel or way in which we use sketch comedy to kind of reflect on socioeconomic issues in South Africa. And so we gather, the troops, we gather South Africans, and it's an opportunity for them to reflect on their own engagement, contribution, or no contribution to the decay and the development of the country. So nnete is basically truth, and we're basically saying, look at yourself, laugh at yourself, but reflect and ask yourself, what role are you playing in this country to either progress or to contribute to the decay?
Yeah, why call it, Momo, Mekete Manyalo le Mafu? Is it because at these events the truth is not mostly spoken?
It's where you'll find the biggest truth.
Yeah.
Spaces like Mekete Manyalo le Mafu, also their rituals, right? Yeah. And this is where a lot of people gather, and we are all kind of here to whether ki but that's where the scandals come out.
Yes.
That's where coffee, skeletons are coming out the closet, and I think why we also chose to make these ladies bomeba stokvel is that wherever there's people gathering, there's truth.
Yes.
And I think it's a lovely way for us to reflect on, like Tumy said, our socio-economic and political issues.
Yeah.
So through Mekete Manyalo le Mafu, this is where South Africa, from gender-based violence to people hustling us on the streets for money because of poverty, are the biggest racist, so we deal and touch on a lot of topics that affect us.
And nobody has gossip like Boitumelo. Those are the people.
Literally.
Yes,
so what kind of truth are you reflecting on? You talk about gender-based violence, socio-economic issues. Are there specific subjects we can particularly look forward to?
Yes, so I think initially when we started the group, we had wanted to, comment on the state of the creative industry in South Africa. That's how the group kind of started. And then we realized that we have, a very critical platform. We were accessing different audiences and wanted to touch on a variety of topics. And so Momo mentioned GBV. That's one of the critical ones, especially because we're young women. And so that personal experience becoming quite public and becoming quite important to reflect in this way. But like Momo mentioned, we touch on, like racism in the country. We touch on ways in which people are navigating unemployment. We also try to capture voices from ordinary South Africans and their views on just our leadership. Am I voting or am I not voting, and why? Will I get married, and to who? We touch on gender, sexuality. Exactly, and I think our show really tries to dig deep in these topics, but most important to really reflect ordinary, very diverse voices from South Africans, so that as an audience, as somebody who's enjoying the show, you get to ask yourself, okay, now where am I in this role? Or what role does my mom then play? Or how does she influence my thinking and how I show up in the world and how I'm showing up in society right now? So it's been the hardest thing to capture everything in 1 hour, but we go from blessers to bomme, to young girls, to politicians, to racists, to hustlers on the road. Literally everything packed in this beautiful moment on stage.
How is it structured, Momo? How do you make sure that the project is relatable to different groupings? Are you doing it in English? Limixa, Setswana, Sesotho?
Absolutely.
How do you structure it?
Absolutely. So, Rona already, Khona le Batswana, Khona le Mosotho. So these mamas, Iris, Glow, and Memaki also are very different, right? Memaki ke motho wa kereke.
I thought so. That's what I imagined when you said Memaki.
That's how they meet Memaki. And then Iris Swabatu is in a very abusive relationship with her husband. And then Unalungwano suffering from depression. And then Gloria is your typically rich mama, you know, who will tell the child to move the McLaren before parking the Range Rover. You know what I mean? So and so through these three voices, our packaging device, how we chose to package the show, is through a television show. And so they hosted the show called the Triple M Mamas. And so through the show, then we're able to connect directly, number one, to the audience, right? So they are in our studio. They are here for our show. And then we start our segments with like trending topics. So what is the trending topic now? People asking us questions on how, mamas, please help me extend my 350 SASSA grant for the month. Can you give me tips on how to make it last? You know, and then from like trending topics, we go to ad breaks. And these ad breaks are like selling things like a V8 tolerance cream. You know, how can we as South Africans begin to understand and tolerate one another? We don't necessarily have to respect each other, right? But tolerance and respect are, you know, almost in the same ballpark. And then we've got like other segments and skits like The Biggest Hustler, where these three hustlers are on the street and they each, but it's a competition, and each has to come up with a way of how to get money from, you know, people. So I think through the TV show, which is a style that everybody is very familiar with, we're able to connect directly to our audience. Ribua different languages, not just Sesotho le Setswana, khona le Sizulu, khona le Siburu. When we are playing the amazing racists, Bomariki Akae, Frankrikueria off. So there's all sorts of characters.
Trained actors, like Clement Manyathela,
the honors degree.
The
trained actors. Who are you then in the?
Give up on American, respectful of the challenge. That's my main character that I play, but I'm also Mariki in The Biggest Hustler.
What do you play?
Mina gamalami airesim faswa banjo shawendoja. Ngesikhathi sonke umntwana yakho ufuna ukugibela itsafula sihenge lapha. Yabona izinto esinjalo. And then singing, I'm playing Grant from Parkhurst. You know, I'm hustling around in the streets. Do you know what I mean? Like, you better give me your money. Okay?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, because you're driving like a huge Mercedes-Benz and you got a freaking Slay Queen, you know, hat. Give it to me, bro.
Okay, so the Thenx Ladies then. Do you have different kinds of projects? Because this is the new one. Or is this the one that you want to do and maybe one day go on tour? And go to the various places to showcase? So
we had our first performance, excuse me, in 2013. And so what's nice is that sketch, you know, you get to create different different shows depending on what's happening in the country at the point. So Mekete, Manyalo le Mafu, I think is an iteration of the Triple M Mamas. And depending on what's happening in the country at the time, we then find different skits to include in the Triple M Mamas show. But I mean, we've done a TED Talk before. We get schools and corporates inviting us to do shows depending on the topic that they're grappling with at the time. It could be elections, like I mentioned earlier, or leadership for women. So what's nice about sketch is that we're able then to really adapt it to the different needs whether in the boardroom, in the classroom, or on stage. But Mekete, Manyalo le Mafu, I think we're really trying to finesse it, to enhance it and make it fit. It's one that we're able then to tour as well, especially with the elections coming. We really want to use this as a space for people to really reflect on the state of the country now, but also to prepare for next year, April.
It sounds like so much fun. So how can we get tickets and where exactly is it happening? If you can remind the viewers, please. Sure.
It's happening at AFTA, which is at number 41 Frost Avenue in Braamfontein. And tickets are available at PopArt. You can go to their Instagram page and just follow the link. And you can get tickets there. And I think they're going for about 150, if I'm not mistaken.
And what time?
We are running every day at, is it 7 or 8?
7.
It's at 7 p.m.
What's the 8? Just to chat.
No, it's 7. I get it. We've lost track of time.
How's Gloria with Zajwa?
So you can get, please come from the 27th of July until the 30th of July. On the 30th, it's at 3, and then from the 27th until the 29th, it's at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and if they need more information, they can just go to the PopArt Instagram account for additional information.
Yes, they can. Or for us, Tumy with a Y, or myself, Momo.
Tumy with a Y on Instagram, Momo on Instagram.
Yes.
All right.
And Kitty Moepang on Instagram as well.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. This sounds like
thank
so
you
much
for
fun.
having us. We hope to see you there.
Thank you so much, guys, for making time.